Hey y'all, it's y'all favorite cozy girl, Chi the Reality Queen, and I am back again with another episode of Robe Chronicles. Tonight, we're going to be talking about Real Housewives of Potomac, Season 8, Episode 12. So, this episode starts off with Giselle going to the fabric store to meet up with Ashley to pick fabrics for their clothing line. Again, I'm happy that they're picking up endeavors because I think your girl Jizzy know that child support check finna run out because her kids are getting ready to graduate, so she got to pick up a real job. But I just don't think that's their lane. I mean, reasonably shady is absolutely Giselle's lane. She's shady, but clothing. I'm not the best dresser, but I don't think she's ever worn anything that I've been like, oh, that's cute. Maybe pieces, but nothing altogether. So it's weird. And Ashley, Ashley don't know how to dress. She don't. Like she wears cute pieces, but she does this thing where I think, a lot of people believe, "Oh, I'm skinny, so I could just wear anything." And it's like, "No, you can't. You should probably change." But anyway, it's funny because Giselle talks about how they named the company GNA, and even her daughters were like, that's lame because it doesn't look good, but maybe when you see it on clothing, because sometimes seeing something written down is different than how it looks on clothing or what, I don't know. It looks tacky to me. Maybe if they had done all capital letters, how it is, I'm not a fan, but maybe all capital letters would have been kind of cool. Or maybe a different font, right? Because sometimes font makes or breaks something, right? So it could be that too that I may not like. Maybe I don't like the font of it. I'm not quite sure. Maybe they could have like separated the letter. I don't know. Something about it is not aesthetically pleasing, but I don't think GNA is actually a bad name. Like I think it actually like works on clothing, but I think maybe how they wrote it, I don't know. Anyway, Mia and Robin then also show up and they're like, oh, which fabric should we pick? Polka dot this? It's like, y'all are just tacky. One thing that they are talking about that's pretty funny or maybe genius is that they want to put an extra padding in the like vagina area of the pants to give extra padding, collect sweat. And honestly, not a bad idea if they can figure out a way to make that work correctly and like in a way that actually benefits women. I think that's actually a genius idea. You got to do something. I mean, you don't really have to do anything. Everybody sells the same stuff. But if you can add a little bit of pizzazz to your item, then hey, I'm all for it. But yeah, so me and Robin show up and then they start talking about the invite that Karen sent out last minute. And Ashley's like, oh yeah, she was so mad at you, Mia. And I'm like, now why are you guys trying to manufacture drama? Because she was mad. I'm not going to take that away. She was like, what was that text about? But after it was kind of explained, she was like, oh, okay. It sounded like she understood where Mia was coming from. So I don't know why there was an appearance like there was no resolution or she was just so mad at her. Because Ashley's just messy. I feel like Ashley wakes up and says, how can I keep my check today? And girl, you need it. So I don't blame you. But it seems so unnecessary. Um, but yeah, then they go to um, NECA, not the women, but the show pans to NECA, and she is at her house and she's having a little meeting for her new champagne, which reads as Bido, but if you're Igbo, it's Bido. So kind of cool that she is tying that in. Um, it's a sparkling wine. Sorry, I said champagne. She clarified. I mean, she said it herself. It's not from Champagne, France, so it's just a sparkling wine. Um, and her friend, cousin, whatever, Lebe comes over, and her other friend, Chica. And Lebe looks so evil. Like, just downright mean girly. She might be a really nice person. It might be Botox or something that got her face looking like that. But she looked like she plotting and planning. And that is a girl that I would not trust. I'm sorry. I know that's her husband's cousin, but all kinfolk ain't friendly. You don't really know what she wants. Sounds like she may want your spot. Because when I think about it, all of the beef between Wendy and NECA stems from Lebe. There is literally no conversation that happened between NECA and anybody in Wendy's family. It's secondhand information she heard, and then she confronted Wendy. So if we're doing the math here and following along, maybe Lebe is just a hater. Maybe, right? Maybe she's a hater. And NECA isn't really the problem. NECA is just, you know, falling into a trap that someone else set for her. Because if you do all this to make someone on the show look bad and maybe try to slide yourself in, I mean, she got on the show, now she's here. She's a friend of. And we all know it is a short walk from friend of to full time housewife. And then next thing you know, the housewife who brought you in is gone. So I wouldn't be surprised if maybe some of that is going on because it doesn't really make sense that she is the only source between them. And not only is she the only source, she fell out with Wendy's sister. So that's where I'm kind of like, it's a little, it's a little funny. Um, then she's still trying to like fan the flames of the drama because Nicka's like, oh, well, she invited me to Eddie's event. So I think maybe we're heading in the right direction. I don't know. And she's like, oh, be careful because you're on her turf. That's her space. And it's like, girl, what? You sound crazy. Like you're trying to make drama where there is none. I'm not saying that Wendy fucks with her for real, but she invited her. Just take the gesture for what it is, right? Um, then and so it makes me think that NECA is trying to move forward. Maybe she woke up. It seems like her sister is very level-headed. So maybe her sister was kind of like, why are you beefing when that could be your sister? Like a friend. Um, so yeah, that's just my opinion. Then we see Candace and Chris, very cute couple still. Um, she's practicing her lines, and then she has to let Chris know, like, I actually have to leave Eddie's event early, so you're going to be there by yourself. But the good thing is, Chris does get along with Eddie, and all. In fact, I think all the men remaining get along with each other. So there's really no beef. Well, except for now Eddie and Ike. But that's an interesting one in itself. I don't know. It doesn't it doesn't rub me the right way because I feel like Eddie has been so chill. So for Ike to come in and get instantly so aggressive, like, bro, this is Happy Eddie. This is the chill guy. Like, why are you yelling? Because he's not yelling at you. Very weird. But Chris is like, oh, well, I'm just gonna say every hello to everyone who says hi to me. And I think Chris is a very calm person. Like, I don't think he holds grudges. Like, I mean, obviously he's mad at Giselle and obviously he's mad at Ashley, but he's so friendly that I don't think he wants to like actually beef with these women for real because also they're women. So I think he wants to be above that. Um, yeah. So, anyways, Chris and Candace show up on time to Wendy's event. The event is at a dispensary, which is funny because um, I don't know why when they in the clips when they're talking about their role in oregano, I just assumed they were in somebody's house or something, not a dispensary, but it was still pretty cool. Um, it's crazy. And then also, they had gift bags or like gift boxes that they gave to everybody who showed up, which Candace took as she left. And I was like, oh, okay. It sounded like it had perhaps weed contents in there. I'm not exactly sure. Um, Mia shows up early per usual. I Mia is a timely queen, okay? I have never seen her show up late to anybody's event, and I really appreciate that about her. I am not that person, but I do appreciate that quality in Mia. She is an on-time girly, and I love it. Ashley shows up next by herself, of course. And she's like, I have nothing to say to Chris and blah, blah, blah. Girl, you was lying on that man because of your puppet faced friend. And now you want to act like he did something wrong to you. He never even spoke to you. He was actually nice to you all the way up until you try to play him. And then he said, I'm not the one to play with. And now you're mad. But your husband can sue your castmate, which was dismissed, by the way, because he's a loser. But your husband can sue your castmate, and that's okay. Like, it's funny because the line is always moving. And Candace said it, and now it's like the theme because it's always moving. Um, Karen shows up, and Mia immediately asks her, just immediate beef. Oh, have you calmed down? Girl, what are you talking about? Now, why are you trying to make beef? So she starts going like, girl, I didn't get your text. It didn't make sense to me. It was, I guess, really aggressive or hostile or whatever. And they start going back and forth. And I'm like, why are y'all arguing like this again? Like, y'all was just cool. I mean, not really, but y'all was cool enough. And then Mia's like, well, you're an old dog and you can't teach an old dog new tricks. And here comes Karen with the dagger. You are the trick. I said, calling somebody a trick is not really a diss, but it's funny. It's funny. I'm sorry, I laughed. I keyed when Mia called her an old dog that shouldn't learn new tricks, and I keyed when Karen called her a trick right back. I think their beef is funny to me. Like, it's maybe not necessary, but it is funny. Um, then Kiana shows up, then Giselle shows up, and she hears about the argument between Mia and Karen, which instantly tells me that they are planning this because the fact that she felt like, oh, I have to tell Giselle, like, girl, I did what you said, pat my head and tell me good doggy. Like, that's the way it kind of came off. Not so much like, the way I said it's manufactured. Like, it's really like they are doing Giselle's bidding. And Giselle was like, what? You did, playing like she didn't know. And then, but her and Karen are still cool. So, she goes and says hi to Karen. She says hi to Ashley, hi to Kiana, and then ignores Wendy. So Wendy is like, well, she came to my event and she's ignoring me. And I'm so glad she said that. But then the producers try to put together some stupid montage of Wendy ignoring Wendy ignoring Giselle. But none of those matter because none of those were Giselle's event. In fact, last season, when they had that little springtime event for the very first episode, Wendy went to greet Giselle and she said, and that's that. Let me tell you, I know a lady who once told me, like, maybe I'm just petty because I could be. I know a lady who once said something along the lines of, that's enough of the hugging. I haven't greeted that woman with a hug since. She gets a hi from across the room. I do not play that. You tell me how you want me to treat you, and I'm going to treat you like that for real. If that pisses you off, oh well, because I will never hug you again. I will never greet you again. So I'm like, Wendy, oh, you don't bet. But for the sake of you're coming to my house, that's basically like what happened here. You're coming to my house. Okay, now you got to greet me. If I come to your house for any reason, I would also greet you because that's your space. And I don't want to be rude. I can always be cordial, right? I don't have to like you. I don't have to be overly nice, but I can be cordial. I'm an adult, and that's what adults do. And that's the problem with Giselle. I think she behaves like a child. That's me. Um, Then Giselle makes a joke about Chris gaining stress weight. And I don't hate the joke, but I only think it's in poor taste because Giselle's the reason why he was stressed because of her lies. So if someone else had made the joke, maybe it would have been a lighthearted joke. But when you're the person who actually caused that person the stress, it becomes a little nasty, right? I think if Ashley made it, I mean, Ashley calls him stress. Maybe Mia, I'd be like, oh, okay. But for Giselle to make it, it's like, girl, you're the reason. If he's stressed, you're the reason why, because your lies. Like, what are we doing here? But anyway, and then they go to learn how to roll the weed. I think Robin finally showed up, and because she always late. She me for real. I haven't been on time to nothing since like third grade. It's a problem. I hate it. I want to do better. I'm working on it, y'all. I am. And people who know me personally, they know that I'm working on it. So, I'm getting better each day. So then they go to start to learn to roll, and they say, oh, they were telling them that, oh, they're rolling oregano. Now everybody want to talk mess like, oh, why are we rolling oregano? Because if weed isn't yet legal, that's why you're rolling oregano. Like, y'all would prefer. Eddie is a lawyer. He is going to make sure he's following whatever rules he needs to follow because he knows what the rules are. So because of that fact, he's not going to do anything incorrect. I think that's pretty simple. I just think people aren't going to be happy until Eddie's in jail or something. I don't know. Like, it's just stupid to me. I feel like the commentary on that was stupid, especially if they're giving you pre-rolls and all that stuff in a gift box to go that you don't really know what's in it, but you do know what's in it. Like, if they're giving you, then what are you talking about? Like, just shut up and enjoy the event. Um, then Mia makes a joke about Eddie being the most available attorney. Mia, do you know him? Do you know Eddie? Do you follow him from 9 to 5 to know where he goes? What are you talking about? I feel like it was supposed to be a read, but I didn't get it because you don't know him. You don't hang out with him. You don't do one on ones with Wendy and Eddie. You don't know that man. You see him when they require all the men and the wives to show up in the same place. That is the only time you see him. So, what makes Eddie more available than any of the other husbands that show up? I'm confused. Like, I didn't understand the joke. And if someone can explain it to me, I'd really appreciate it. I'd really love for you guys to explain the joke for me in my comments because it just sounds like me as a hater because she doesn't have any type of anything to her name, no job, no nothing. So she was just being a hater. That's what it sounded like to me. If I'm wrong, I'm wrong, but that's how it sounded to me. Then Wendy thanks everybody for coming out. She talks about how she was really happy that everybody, sounded like they were enjoying and laughing and having a good time. And Giselle's like, was I laughing? Was I laughing? Like, girl, yes, you were. And they rolled the clips of her laughing at the event, at the table. That production is how you do it. You have to show things that are balanced. You can't just show whatever you want. You can't just montage whatever. You got to montage things that make sense. Showing Giselle laughing at an event where she swore she wasn't laughing is what you do. You don't montage apples and oranges. Um, then G starts to leave and he takes off. And then Robin's like, oh, Mia, I meant to ask, how are you and G doing? And Mia basically is like, well, we're okay, but I just don't want to leave him right now while he's down because what type of person would that make me? Exactly who you are. Like, Mia, let's stop playing. We know who you are, and that's okay. We like you for who you are. We do. Your character, what you bring to the show, we like it. And we know that G not having nothing is a reason to leave him. that's for you at least. We know that, and that's okay. It's who you are. We won't judge you. Someone might, but it won't be us as viewers who knows what the deal is. You know. um, then Nneka pulls Wendy to the side, thanks her for the invitation. She also thanked her when she walked in. Um, and Wendy was kind. She was like, "Oh, no problem," you know. And then she's like, "Well, I just wanted to invite you for us to talk and have like a one-on-one." And Wendy immediately points out that there has been no apology. And Nneka's like, "Oh, I know, but that's kind of the purpose of this talk." And Wendy's like, "Okay, I receive what you're saying, but I can't like fully digest it right now." I am conflicted on this because I understand what she's saying. Like, I see where you're coming from, and I'm trying to get there with you, but there is still a lack of accountability. Because if you're coming to ask me to have a one on one, you should have come through like, "I'm sorry for what I said about you and about your mother." And there's a lot of reasons why I believed that or thought that or said that. And I would like to sit down with you one on one so we can get to the bottom of this. That would be an appropriate way to handle it, in my opinion, my humble opinion. But I think for the sake of the show, her reaching out to Wendy and asking for that one on one is enough. That's enough. That's enough. I think for this show and how they operate and how they do things, that's enough. You could ask for a one-on-one without an apology first. In real life, no. That would never fly. Not in my opinion. But for the show purposes, yeah, you could do it. I'll give it a pass. Um, but I think that Nneka wasn't harsh. She said, "I receive it and I'm just not ready to give you an answer right now." I don't think that was harsh. Before I watched it, I thought Wendy was like, "Girl, get out my face, F it. I'm not messing with you." But she was, you know, open to it, but just not in the way that I think people wanted. People wanted her to be like, "Yes, girl, can't wait." And that wasn't how she reacted. And I think that was tough for people to see. Um, then Mia and G meet up for lunch to talk about their therapist because I guess their therapist told them that they need to hang out more, like without the kids, without a working setting, just like dinner, lunch, dates, stuff like that. Um, she says she's upset with G for not taking accountability for the part he played in ruining their business relationship with his family. And I'm very, very curious to know what role that is. G's family, if you're listening, if you're out there, can you please let us know what happened to cause this divide? I mean, obviously, if it's a legal issue and you can't talk about it, cool. But if there's no legality or issues there, can you please talk about it? Can you let us know? I am curious. Hmm. I am. I'm sorry. I want to know because it just seems so random. There was the whole embezzle like conversation, and that was kind of like just seems so crazy. And then we found out that those embezzlement um conversations were just made up. So I'm just kind of like, okay, really, what's up? Then she was talks about living in a hostile environment with G, and he was like, "Wait a minute, before you start talking crazy, explain hostile." Because I have never put my hands on you or yelled at. And she's like, "Oh, no, 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 nothing like that." Because it is so easy, especially being on television, for people to hear something and run with it. And G was like, "Absolutely not." He was like, "No, girl, you're not going to paint that picture of me," which I thought was funny. But then she brings up Ashley and her situation with Michael Darby. And she was like, "I never saw them getting a divorce. She needs him. She's a sugar baby, basically. Like, she can't leave him." And Mia talks about like what it would look like if it were them. And he was like, "Well, I would just make an arrangement that would work for both of us." Basically saying that she could go out and have her people, and then he would just take care of her, and he would still be able to have her on his arm when he wanted to go out and stuff like that. Oh, gee. That's the problem with the sugar baby situation. When the sugar is gone, so is the baby. It's a requirement of the position for there to both be sugar to keep the baby. G didn't know the terms and conditions of his contract that he signed, not only with his business partners, but with his wife. I like G though, but he didn't know. Um, but basically, he was saying that they wouldn't have gotten a divorce. I'm just like, damn, he would really be okay with his girl dating a completely other person, probably in private for him and her to keep, the public facing thing. Um, ooh, I'm tired. Crazy. NECA's event is happening, and she's with her sister in Jamaica, and they're talking, and she's like, "Oh, I don't know if Wendy's showing up. She didn't decline, but I haven't heard from her, so I don't really know what's happening." And her sister's like, "Well, hopefully she shows up, and that will show like you guys are on a good path, and it's like good faith, whatever." Karen shows up. She says, "Hey, everybody! Like, hey, girls! The general." I walked into a room of people, so I'm saying hi to everybody that's in this room. And Sharice was like, "Everybody says hi. Why are you here? Why are you still here, Sharice? Sharice, no. Why are you here? Like, you're trying to get a moment. Nobody wants you to have a moment. Just go." I actually feel like she's trying to get close with NECA to keep having moments. And that's what she's doing. She wants to be close with everybody she can be close with so she can continue having moments. Because she really has no beef with anybody but Karen. Even though she is friends with Robin and Giselle, she's cool with Candace. I think she has no problem with Wendy, right? So she really get along with everybody. And really, they maybe should invite her back. I don't know, but I don't want to see her. And if I don't want to see her, I don't want to see her as a friend of either. Like, get her off my screen. And then Kiana makes the announcement that Wendy isn't coming. And then Giselle's like, "Well, why didn't she tell the host? And why didn't she this? And why didn't she that?" Why are you pressed? The only person that should be pressed about that declined invite is NECA. And if NECA not pressed, leave it where it is. You didn't even say hi to the girl at her event. Why are you worried about where she is? You don't like her. You don't want to see her. So why would you even ask that question? Let NECA fight her own battles. And I'm not saying NECA can't be upset, and I'm not saying NECA can't have feelings towards it, but I'm just saying, like, let that be her thing to do or complain about or say something about. Not Giselle. Like, girl, come on now. You the last person to ask why Wendy didn't show up. Um, then they NECA announces that, like, hey, we're actually unboxing gifts, like, for real. That's why I called y'all here. And everybody's like, "Skirt? I thought we was drinking and playing like we was unboxing, but we wasn't doing none of that." And it's funny because Giselle makes a comment that lets me know she's gonna turn on NECA. And when she does, all you fans that have been defending NECA, you will turn on her too because you guys are just Giselle fans. So whoever Giselle likes, y'all like. So I'm telling you, it will come. The time will come that she will turn on NECA. I can already see it just by the little commentary she makes. She gonna turn on that girl. And when she do, I can't wait. Not because I don't like NECA. I mean, if NECA gets another season. If NECA gets another season, she gonna turn on her. It's gonna come. But if NECA don't get another season, then they might stay friends, or she may never talk to the girl again. Actually, and she might only be talking to her because an enemy of my enemy is a friend, right? Whatever that is. Um. Then for some reason, Mia and Karen start getting into it again. And she's like, "Well, Karen, you act like a trick, and because you was running around with a man having sex in the bathroom," and they rehashed that whole last season thing. And Karen's like, "Girl, rumors, we have talked about rumors. Like, stop talking about rumors. That's why I don't bring them up, because they're just that, rumors. Like, There's no purpose to them. And she's like, what rumors? Da 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 da. She goes, that people seeing you out with a rapper and a married man, because those two separate people. Mm, two separate individuals, Mia. And she was like, here comes Mia trying to play cool the way she lies. Like, and that's the funny thing because people are like, oh, you can't get Mia because Mia tells the truth. No, you can't get Mia because Mia lies so much. And she did the exact same lie that she did season one when they was asking her about how old she was, about her vagina and the surgeries and this and that. The same lies that she was telling back then is the same way she lied. And you could tell when she lies because she tries to be very, very dismissive. That's Mia's tell. Mia's lying tell is she all of a sudden is like, oh, I could care less and tries to be very dismissive because she's lying. It's she does it every time. I've watched her now for, two seasons or whatever, and that is how she's lying. She starts to be like, oh well, G was there any of the times that I was hanging out with these people. Was he? What, like, no, he wasn't. You're lying. He wasn't there. I'm not saying that G maybe doesn't have an agreement with her, but him there watching you get dug out, girl, quit your lies. Quit them. Quit them. Nobody believes you. And then Mia's like, well, it's not a rapper. Okay, so you're confirming that it's true. That's, whatever it is. And then yeah, it's just I like Mia though. I do. I like her. But girl, that ain't it. Then they decide to play Never Have I Ever. And someone asked a question about, oh, have you ever thought about paying for the deed? Giselle asks, is the one that, says it out loud. And then everybody's just looking around. Here comes messy Ashley, like, Charisse, you never thought about it? And the reason why that is even 10 times funnier is because that's exactly what Charisse accused Karen of doing, I believe, last season. So the fact that she made that accusation, but even despite making that accusation, somebody thinks that's something she would do is very telling. um, then someone talks about, or they ask a question about saving a photo and whatever, whatever. And basically, it's Robin trying to get Karen to admit that she saved a photo of her family. Do you know how unimportant your story is for you to try to bring up a beef of something that happened 4 or 5 years ago? And now you're bringing it to light as a gotcha to Karen? 4 or 5 years ago? And the people who are eating it up, the fans who are eating it up, like, are you serious? Are you serious? Like, I know y'all like Robin, but really, really, y'all gonna let her pass on that? 5-year-old beef, 5-year-old issues? Really? I don't know. I'm not liking it. Not loving it. But yeah, so they talk about the picture situation. Karen doesn't deny it. She's like, oh yeah, I must, like, I probably did screenshot it. They're like, do you have a Robin folder? And she's like, yeah, or whatever she said. But to me, I'm like, you can't gag somebody who admits. Again, like you guys said about Mia, you can't gag her because she admitted it. You can't gag somebody who admits it. So again, the line is always moving. If you're on the green eyed bandit side, then you can get away with whatever. But in the same episode, someone else admits something and it's like, oh my God, what a weirdo. When I can guarantee people take so many screenshots that iPhone has a section in your phone called screenshots because y'all be screenshotting people. I know it's people, it's not just information. Y'all be screenshotting people so much that iPhone has been like, let's make it its own separate category. So now Karen's the weirdo for screenshotting Robin and her family. I know she probably wanted to be like, look how raggedy she looked while her mama and daddy look good or some shit. She probably talking shit. I mean, I hate to say it, but she probably was talking shit. That's just what it is. Um, but I mean, that's life of a screenshot. Most screenshots are, oh, inspo or talking shit. It only goes two ways. Um, anyways, it's just weird. But anyway, so they finish the game. Everybody goes to eat or whatever, and Karen makes a really nice toast to NECA, and I love it because the thing about Karen is Karen's always really good at trying to include people and new people and everybody, and she's really been trying to bring everybody together this season. She just don't like Charisse, and that's on period. I mean, she don't have to like her because she's not a cast member, so she don't actually have to deal with her. So sorry, Charisse, that's too damn bad. Um, but yeah, she made a little toast to her, saying congratulations. I don't know about y'all, but I feel like this episode had so much going on. Like I just feel like from Eddie's event to the quick lunch with me and G to NECA's event, I'm like, ooh, they try to fit a lot into one episode. Or maybe both events were just kind of boring, so they didn't provide a lot of drama, so they just kind of sped through them. I don't know. What do you guys think about the episode? I thought it was okay. Um, it's pretty standard Housewives episode. I don't think it was, too crazy. But like I said, I need them to chill on the manufactured drama. If you have a beef with somebody or you're mad about something, cool. But when you trying to press it just to get a iconic line or a moment, and then go around telling just like, oh, I did it, I confronted her, I said something, it really comes off as staged. So I don't know. Not really a fan of that. But yeah, tell me what you guys think. Please like, comment, subscribe, share, and subscribe again. I'm going to say that every time. And I will see you guys next time. Bye.